Welcome to the next podcast with Jay Cookingham, a heartfelt journey through grief, loss, and healing. After the devastating loss of his wife, Christine, Jay shares his raw, honest reflections on navigating life without her. This podcast explores the power of grief as a medicine that teaches resilience, invites lament, and leads us to discover God's presence during sorrow. With grace and vulnerability, Jay offers hope and encouragement to those walking through grief, reminding us that we're not alone on this journey of healing.
Hello, and welcome back to the next podcast. Conversations about navigating, embracing, exploring, and ultimately learning to trust as we move forward with grief and loss. I'm your host, Jay Cookingham, and this is episode 9 and part 4 of Honoring Memories and Finding Hope in the Holidays. I'm back to flying solo, but I hope you had a chance to listen in on the conversation that I had with my daughter, Sarah, and hear her insights on navigating grief during the holidays. If you haven't tuned in yet, episodes 7 and 8 were just a peek into how we as a family and as individuals move forward as best as possible during the holidays. I think you'll gain some hope by listening in on our conversation. I know Sarah shared some powerful reflections from a female heart that I found valuable to listen to. And today I want to continue this theme about navigating loss and celebrating the holidays and share some additional thoughts and suggestions. But I want to say that I'm still working this out, especially since I am approaching the 5-year anniversary of my bride's death and my 6th Christmas without her. I'm still working this out because, everything has changed. Everything has changed from the prep work, the gift shopping has changed, looking for the perfect tree, decorating the house, to the actual celebrating Christmas Day and Christmas Eve by itself. Every part is different since my wife passed. And just navigating the different is hard. The change, the stoppage of traditions and celebrations, well, that takes a toll on me. And it's difficult to switch gears and then gear up to discover or create new ways to celebrate and new ways to try to enjoy the holidays. Now, for me, it's not a lack of ideas or new things to try. I have so many. New ideas are not my problem. It's the creation of energy to engage in those new ideas in the process, to implement those things. So it's not so much how or when or where. It's a question of why. And the why may be the hardest thing to overcome and process through. Discovering the reason why of celebration is so important to moving forward on my grief journey. I don't think grief is meant to rob us of joy and happiness. Grief is that natural, emotional human response to loss. Grief is that eternal emotional process, that response to loss, while mourning is that external expression of that grief. Both are needed and both are healthy. Not pleasant, but so necessary to express, mourn, sorrow, and pain. So I don't think, and believe me, it's taken me a while to get even to this point. I don't think grief is the thief that we make it out to be. My choices are a far different thing, though, because my choices often rob me of joy. The choices that I make during my journey can be joy thieves, and it depends on my response to grief. Grieving without mourning can be destructive to your emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being because I think it traps your pain on the inside where it can fester instead of heal. When I choose to stuff my emotions to silence my grief, I rob myself of the chance to process the loss, to honor the person that I lost, and to move forward towards wholeness. Suppressing grief doesn't make it disappear. It weighs on me, manifesting as stress in my body and my spirit, and confusing my mind and my thoughts and my feelings, and all of it. It just gets so messy on the inside when I stuff things. Mourning, however, is the act of giving grief its voice, its space, and its rightful expression. It's not a sign of weakness. It's an essential act of self-care and moving forward. Without it, I deny myself the ability to release the hurt, the permission to embrace the lessons in loss, and to step really into the fullness of who I am becoming, even in the face of pain. I think mourning opens the doorway to joy. When we turn our backs on grief, we may think that we're protecting ourselves, but we're only prolonging the pain and creating walls around our heart, because grief doesn't disappear. It doesn't disappear simply because we ignore it. It waits in the shadows, showing up in ways we may not expect, and may demonstrate itself in bitterness or numbness or physical stress. So to fully embrace joy, especially during the holidays, we must first allow ourselves to feel the depths of our loss. Mourning isn't just about acknowledging the pain. It's about honoring the love and connection behind that loss. And when we take the time to grieve, we clear space within ourselves for joy to re-enter. Mourning helps us process what's gone, while also helping us to remember the beauty and love that remain. After loss, I know the holidays can feel hollow and they can feel empty, but through active mourning, active lament, we can rediscover the meaning. We can learn to celebrate in a way that honors both our pain and our hope by creating space for joy. Maybe not the joy that we once knew, but perhaps a new, deeper joy that coexists with the memories of what we've lost. It is through this tender balance, this harmony of grief and gratitude, that we truly open the door to joy, allowing ourselves to experience the holidays not as an act of forgetting or pushing it down deep, but as a practice of cherishing our memories and the new memories we're making, even without the ones that we lost. So what I'm coming to terms with is this, that my choices matter when it comes to opening the door to joy. Grief itself isn't the lock to the door, but my choices can be. Will I choose to engage with life even when mourning? Will I allow myself to find and savor moments of celebration, however small they might be? Or will I let my own unwillingness to engage rob me of these moments? See, I don't think grief demands that I stop living. It does ask to come along for the ride, which is, I know, can be difficult. But this choice is mine to stay open, to step forward in life, to find joy, not denying my pain, but in embracing the fullness of life, which includes both sorrow and celebration. It's not really about moving on or pretending that everything is now okay. It's about choosing not to let fear of change steal more from me than it already has. Joy is still possible, even in the presence of loss, but only if I'm willing to choose it. It is my choice, only my choice. The why is crucial to embracing this celebration. For the Christ follower, Christmas, the first Advent, the birth of Jesus our Messiah, is the reason for the season. We celebrate the birth of Jesus because it means forgiveness and freedom for us. The story of the greatest rescue plan in the history of mankind deserves to be celebrated and enjoyed. It is the why, the number one why my bride loved Christmas, because she loved Jesus. I remember her joy, and I can choose joy. I remember her fondness for the season, and I can choose to find the same. And it's okay to mourn and lament my loss even when I celebrate and worship God. Not only okay, but so healing as well. I understand that some of you listening may not share the same faith that I do, or may not identify with any faith at all. And I want to acknowledge and honor that. But here's what I say to that also. Christmas, for many of us, seems to transcend differences. It's the one season where people from all walks of life can come together and create a sense of goodwill and kindness and connection. The spirit of unity, of reaching out to one another with love and compassion, is something that we can all celebrate and embrace regardless of our beliefs. And when it comes to facing the holidays after loss, there's something beautiful to hold on to. No matter where you stand on matters of faith, you can choose to celebrate the memory of your loved one. You can cherish the gift of what they brought to your life. The love, the laughter, the lessons, the moments that shaped you. That, my friend, is something no loss, no grief, no circumstance can ever take away from you. Their memory is yours to treasure. And by doing so, you're carrying their legacy forward, even during your pain. So, this season, whether you find yourself rooted in tradition, faith, or simply in the shared hope of brighter days, take a moment to celebrate what your loved one gave you. Let their memory be part of what brings warmth to your heart and inspires you to carry that spirit of goodwill into the world and into everyone around you. So I have some basic tips about supporting your own and or your family's grief journey during the holidays. And it centers on about creating new memory-centered traditions. So I would think that you could dedicate part of your day to celebrating or honoring your loved one. You can light a candle in their memory. You could set a special place at the table or hang an ornament that reminds you of them on a tree. I still buy my wife an ornament. They're usually heart-shaped because she survived a heart attack 11 years ago, and I started buying her heart-shaped ornaments. And so I still buy heart-shaped ornaments and hang them on a tree in her memory. You could share favorite stories about your loved one as part of your holiday gathering, just keeping their memory and their presence alive. If big gatherings feel overwhelming, plan a more intimate dinner. If gift-giving was their favorite part, focus on handmade or thoughtful gifts in their honor. Encourage everybody to share one thing that they would like to carry forward and one thing they would like to change. Channel the grief into acts of generosity by volunteering or donating to a cause that your loved one cared about. For us, again, we shared about the Stockings of Love campaign that we started, and in the memory of my wife and her love of giving stockings out. And this year we are continuing that tradition and blessing kids at a local children's home. You can organize a toy or coat drive, or participate in a local soup kitchen, or create care packages for those in need. And invite and include your family members in these activities to build a sense of purpose and togetherness. And focus on joy-filled activities that can bring connection and healing, like baking cookies together, perhaps maybe one of your lost loved one's favorite recipes. Sing their favorite holiday songs, or watch a movie that they love. We just recently watched It's a Wonderful Life, because my wife loved that movie. And so we did that as a family during Thanksgiving. So keep celebrations simple to avoid the stress of overcommitting or overcomplicating things, but allowing space for both reflection and for joy to enter into that. The other thing I would like to suggest is maybe attend a community or church event. Attend a Christmas Eve service or a holiday concert or a tree lighting ceremony to experience the season spirit in a community supportive setting. I think all these events can help shift our focus outward and provide moments of peace and renewal if we can embrace them. Just a few suggestions that I think maybe to consider and hopefully that can bring you some joy-filled moments to embrace. Well, God bless you, and thank you for joining me for this episode of the Next Podcast. I hope this conversation has inspired you and given you some encouragement for navigating your own journey through the holidays. If this episode has resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need a little hope this season. And don't forget to join us next time as we continue to explore how to move forward with faith and purpose, even during loss. Remember, God is good. God is always good. He always answers out of His goodness. Learning to trust His definition of good is so crucial to moving forward in our journey.